We've had some highs here at Mythic Quest. Like the wild success of our own Dana Bryant.
Cute girl genius, y'all.
Don't count your chickens before the slaughter.
That is not the same.
That's how I say it.
I do it.
After 4 seasons and a lot of years involved in this show, what would you can say that how David and Poppy has evolved from season 1 to now season 4?
I mean, I think when you find Poppy at the beginning of season 1, she's almost still a kid. Like, she is still figuring out who she is in the world. At that point, all she is Mythic Quest. And throughout the 4 seasons, I think she goes through a lot of ups and downs. So when we find her in season 4, she's becoming a more full person. She wants a personal life. She wants to have things outside of Mythic Quest and outside of her relationship with Ian that make her happy. And I think she's actually done a pretty good job of finding that. She has a boyfriend who we meet in episode 1, but that then kind of throws a bit of a wrench in her relationship with Ian, which is very, very fun to watch.
That's the difference between youth and age. David is a fully formed grown man who the only thing that's really changed is his situation at Mythic Quest a bit, the dynamics, and his hair.
And a big change it is.
Oh, yeah.
David, you're also a producer. Is that a different vision or view that you have to have from season 1 to now, being a producer and do you already 4 seasons? Not many shows can say they have 4 successful seasons with a great dynamic, even going to a strike of writers, and still the show has a good audience and is supported by Apple. How's it feel that on the producer side?
Well, it's great. I mean, you never expect to get that many seasons. We hope to have more and keep telling the story because I think, and you don't always know exactly where you're going. I think part of it is you want to surprise yourself. You're not just pushing the characters, but you're pushing yourselves as writers and creators to discover what you wouldn't expect from the character. And I think each season gives us that opportunity to ask what will push them, what's different, what will be exciting. And I think season 4 is filled with a lot of exciting storylines that make it one of our best.
I think what you guys did this season is so phenomenal. I'm just a fan of the writing.
That was my next question, because I think the writing has evolved also as the character has evolved. Because for me, I've been saying before, because for me it's been very educational. I'm not a huge gamer on these days. I was mostly when I was a kid because I had to do good grades, and it's a whole processing for me to be allowed playing Nintendo. But nowadays we have adults also playing, which I never saw it before. And now it's a whole culture. Like there's a narrative, there's stories. It's like making a movie. So for me, it's a new learning, and huge part is being Mythic Quest. And I wonder if for you has been also educational, because there's a different language when you work in this industry, in this environment.
It's not a video game comedy, it's a workplace comedy for us.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's a human comedy because we try to explore some episodes with pathos and, reflect the other side of the humanity of each character. So, we have these breakaway episodes every season. So that's always been exciting that we do specifically on this show that you don't get to do on every show. To tell a different story, which is also where SideQuest came out of, is the chance to tell other stories in the video game community. So you don't have to play video games to enjoy the show.
No, I agree with you. I don't play video games nowadays, and I've been enjoying the show. But that's why I say it's been learning for me. It's been educational, because so many things that happen in the show, it just make me curious. And you have Ashley that it's been like a gamer, a very famous person.
Yeah, she's a gaming superstar.
And Charlotte, for you, how do you feel that your character has evolved? How do you feel that Poppy has been? What is your favorite things about Poppy now in season 4?
I feel like we left Poppy at the end of season 3 at a bit of a crossroads. She had really been beaten down by the events of season 3, and at the end of that season, Poppy and Ian have this conversation where Poppy is like, I can't keep going like this. And Ian says, well, he kind of says, well, it is what it is. And if you want to be here, this is what it's going to be. And she does. She wants to keep making Mythic Quest. Iron is incredibly important to her. But I think between season 3 and 4, she realizes there has to be more to life. So when we find her at the beginning of season 4, she's started to build a personal life for herself. Maybe for the first time in her entire life, she is focusing on things outside of work. And I think it's very good for her. I feel like for the first time, we kind of see Poppy happy, which is, I mean, that was nice for me to get to play.
And in terms of exposure, now in Apple, it is in many countries, and now the show can be watched. How do you feel that now these stories can reach more people than before when it was only on TV? Now we have this platform that can show these stories and these new characters and new narratives to a different audience outside the United States.
Well, yeah, it's amazing the reach of Apple TV Plus and to be on that platform and be supported. I think hopefully, you know, as we reach a global audience, everyone can identify with the stories we're telling. You know, I know comedy's always different in each culture, but
You know, we have so many fans in Australia.
Oh, yeah?
Because I spend a lot of time in Australia, and it's quite fun going to the grocery store and people being like, Poppy.
Oh, really? Represent.
I can tell by Latin America, it's well known and people love the show.
Oh, great.
That's great.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah.
I have a quick question. How do you feel that your character has evolved? How's Brad and Dana has evolved for this upcoming fourth season?
How have our characters evolved this upcoming fourth season? I would say that Dana's like really deep into her boss mode. Last season we got to see her take a bet on herself and kind of like take a risk by bringing Brad and Joe onto the team, right? But then it worked out because baby girl's doing well. So she's like really thriving in her boss mode, which is really fun to see.
Well, Brad's been to jail. Brad has been a janitor. In season 4, there's some different questions here. I think this whole season has really nice questions regarding work-life balance. And you get to see a little bit of that struggle with Brad, where who is he out of the office and what does he value most? And I think that's one of the questions that is fun to explore this season. You get to see Brad taking on this mentor/dad figure in a way
very Brad
in a Brad way where he doesn't want to be helping too much, but he finds himself needing to help, and you know, he has to really start questioning what is most important in his life. Is it money? What is the most important thing in his life? So
I think jail can give you some perspective in life.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think jail. I think that. I think he's definitely learned some things from his experience, and I think he's trying to pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah, I think he's like he's making he's bringing the edge to Dana and even Rachel at some point.
Yeah, at some point you got to look after number one, and I think Brad is also very good. He's sneaky. He's really good at navigating the system and finding ways to find money, and also make sure that everyone is really taking care of themselves. So there's like a fun selfishness to Brad this year.
One of the beautiful things about the show, it's like they create a language, a very own language, but it's funny. It's serious, it's funny, it can be even educational, because I love video games, but I didn't know how, there's a particular words, particular language inside. And do you know anything about this particular communication that there's inside? Because there's one outside for us that play the games, but there's one inside that you have to practice and learn, because this is usually the normal for them.
Are you referring to like the slang of video game culture?
The slang, the names, the NFT, all this new technology that's being implemented also in the show.
Right. You know, I would say that in season 1, I really tried to be a part of the crew and have the slang down pat. I let it go. I'm like, you know, I'm just an actor, but I have so much respect for the culture. Video game culture is huge, and I have like a lot of love for it, and you know, especially since COVID, it's just really exploded, and I think they've like really found a community. But as far as the language, I respect it from afar.
Yeah. You know, when I first started working on the show, I met with a actual head of monetization, and it was very educational. I was not familiar with this world, so same as Imani. A lot of this was new to me, this new language, and it's been really fun to learn about NFTs and whether a game is sticky or not. And now more than ever, though, my son plays a lot of video games, and now I'm like a detective, where I wasn't really paying attention before, but now when he's on like Fortnite or Brawl Stars, I'm like, oh yeah, what are you playing right now? There are the loot crates interesting? What else? What are you and your friends talking about? Nice, you know. I'm listening more for the language and trying to just be aware of it.
One great thing is that we are already in season 4. I never imagined when I watched season 1 and 2 that we're gonna be talking about season 4 because it's so. I think the show has a very small niche, and mostly it's a platform that is not available worldwide. But people has watched, and I have friends in Europe they have seen the show. And how do you feel about the exposure, or not just about how the show is made? It's also the whole conversation and dialogue, and like you mentioned, the culture behind the video games. That we're talking about this in Europe. I have a friend in Amsterdam that is addicted to this show.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's like, I will say I had the exact same feeling. Like, getting to a 4th season it's a miracle. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I feel very fortunate that we've been able to keep the show going. And it does feel like in some ways it is a niche show, and that we've been very... we celebrate the gaming culture, right? And I think Ubisoft and the whole team here has really done a good job of really celebrating gaming culture, but also at the same time valuing that this is a workplace comedy and creating real characters, character-driven stories that are a blend of comedy and humor. And I think that's allowed us to keep this thing going in fun and unexpected ways. So I'm encouraged. I think this thing should go forever so more people can watch it around the world and get whatever they want out of it. There's something, I think, for everyone.
Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations. I think season 4 is great. It's good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My favorite is still season 1 and 2, but season 4 is super good too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.